Now you studied that the neurons are the cells which are found in our brain. Now what is the function of the neuron and how do neurons transmit the information from the receptors to the brain and then brain to the different parts of the body to respond that. Now we try to understand this. Information passes through neuron in the form of electrochemical signal. That means firstly, which the human body shows anything, see anything, all the informations are collected by receptors and they are passes through neurons in the form of electrochemical signals. These signals are also called impulse. These electrochemical signals which contains the informations, these are also called impulse. Now when the impulse reaches the end of exon, that means all the impulses, that means all the informations, they reaches at the end of exon, and as soon as they reaches exon, it sets off the release of some chemicals. These chemicals cross the gap, just leave the gap. These chemicals cross the synapse. Synapse is the junction of functional junction when the two neurons are connected to each other. And a start is similar electrical impulse in the dendrite of the another neuron. That means when the information reach to one neuron, then it passes to another neuron with the help of dendrites. Now, in this way, the informations are transmitted from the one neuron to another neuron with the help of the synapse. I am going to explain this figure of neuron in detail. We know that this is the picture of the neurons which is found in the brain. This is also known as the nerve cell. Now this is axon, long one. Now short ones, these are the dendrites. This is the nucleus and this is the cell body. Now first one, dendrite. You can see over here, these are the short and branched. What is the function of dendrite? It receives the impulse. Whenever there is a word of impulse, impulse means information. It receives the information from the stimulus and transmit it further to the cell body. That means at this portion, it receives the information and transfer all the informations to this cell body. Okay. Now, what is the function of axon? This is your axon. After the cell body, this is your axon. Now axon receives the messages from the dendrite. Now with the help of dendrite, axon receives the messages and sends it further to the nerve ending. And from axon, the information passes to the ending of this nerve cell. Now what is nerve ending? It transmits or sends the signal to other cells via the synapse. And here there is another neuron, that means there is another nerve cell which was connected by the synapse. So with the help of axon and the nerve ending, all the informations, they are passed to another nerve cells. So this is overall. I think you understand what is the nerve cell and what are different functions of dendrite. Now the next differentiation, which is very important for the lesson in the control and coordination. What is the difference between dendrite and axon? Now these are the two different parts which are situated in the neurons, that is in the nervous system. Now what is the difference between dendrite and axon? As you can see on your screen, dendrites, it arises from the cell body and short branched part. So dendrites arises directly from the cell body of the neuron. These are the short branched. Now similarly, in the axon, it comes also from the cell body, but it is long unbranched part. This is the short branched part, but this is long unbranched part. There is no branching in axon. Now dendrite receive messages from the reception. That means from the different receptors, dendrite receive messages. Now through the axon, the messages are passes to the nerve cell. That means axon passes the messages to another nerve cells, but dendrites receive messages from the receptors. So this is the main difference. That means there are generally main two differences. The dendrites are the short and branched part of the cell, and axon is the long unbranched part of the cell. Secondly, dendrites receive messages from the receptors and exon passes messages to another cells. Now, what is the difference between the central nervous system and the peripheral nervous system? We're going to learn this. In central nervous system, it consists of brain and spinal cord. That means brain and spinal cord, it constitutes the central nervous system. And in peripheral nervous system, it consists of cranial nerves, spinal nerves and visceral nerve. That means 3 nerves constitute the peripheral nervous system. Please concentrate on the lines cranial nerves, spinal nerves and the visceral nerve. Now in central nervous system, it contains centers for controlling various activities of the body. That means all the activities which are done in the body, they are first responded and stimulated by the body for different actions, then they are all covered with the help of central nervous system. And here no such centers for controlling the activities, it just only transmitting the informations to the brain. That means in case of central nervous system, the responses, the informations and the activities both are controlled by the central nervous system. But in peripheral nervous system, only the informations are sent to the brain, but not the activities of the body is controlled by the brain. So this is overall